Shalom. I want to now continue speaking about the incredible world of prayer, of tefillah, of the inner world that each one of us has, but most of us don't go into it. We have at the beginning of Shachrit, in the morning, we have the blessings, in which we thank Hashem for the wonders of the human body. What's that supposed to do? It's just to give us an awareness of the fact that our body is a temple. Our body is a temple of the soul. In the Jewish teachings, in the Torah, the body is considered a sacred sanctuary. And that gives us a responsibility to feed it the right things and to act the right way, to bring more soul, to bring more spirituality into our lives, to live it, to embody it. It's not some kind of an abstract teaching. It's real. You go up and in, and you come back down and out into your life, full, powerful, empowered. We begin with some berachot. We say, thank you to Hashem for giving us this body. We continue on in the first section of the prayers of the morning with what's called Korbanot. Actually, before that, we have some verses which are really an overview of the entire history of the world, a spiritual overview. I mean, people don't say these things. It takes too much time. It's like they don't know what they're talking about, so why even say it? But I'm going to tell you, if you'll go with me a little bit, if you'll stay with me, we'll talk about like why these things were incorporated into the prayers and what power they have. The verses that we say, the prophetic verses that we say, it's like nothing like it. Like, what would you rather do if you had a chance? Wouldn't you like to prophesy? Wouldn't you like to have Ruach HaKodesh? Wouldn't you like to be connected to a higher level of your own soul? Well, this was the way that was given to us to do that. So some of the verses that we say there are from the Torah, where it says, V'shav Adonai Elohecha et shivutcha. Hashem will not only restore the captivity at the end of days, which is where we are. He won't only just restore, He will actively return with V'shav Hashem et. And it's in tens of places. In the Gemara and Megillah in 29a, Kol makom shegala Yisrael gala shechina imahem. Everywhere that Israel became exiled, the divine presence became exiled with us, meaning to say that God accompanies us in our lives. The Zohar says the same thing in tens of places. Hashem is with us. You know what that means. It's amazing. And then we say an amazing bunch of verses, a bouquet of verses from the Nach, from the Nevi'im. And one of them is Miel Kamocha, Nose Avon, Ve'over Al-Fesha, L'Sheirit Nachalato, Lo Echezik La'adapo, Ki Havet Chesed Hu, Yichbosh Avanotenu. The kindness of Hashem is being spoken about here. The incredible high level, which the Zohar calls Arich Yamim, Arich Chut Yamim, Arich Anpin, the high level of Hashem's mercy, of His love. There's so many deep principles here in the prayer system. Each one of them can be an entire lecture, an entire book. That the little world that we live in is a bubble, it's a school, that our souls came down into this school. But the context within which this school takes place is a university, right? It's a total system of love. Yes, it's hard here. Yes, we have to go through a lot here. But when you know what it's all about and why we came here, it changes the whole thing. And one of those verses that connects us with that is called Miel Kamocha, who is a loving God like you. We go into what's called the Korbanot. I'm going fast. If anybody wants me to go slower, I will oblige. We're going fast now. The Korbanot, what's Korbanot? Many people are bothered by the sacrifices of the animals. It's because I am an animal. My body, I'm a physical being. I'm bringing my own physical body on the Mizbeach, on the altar. I want to elevate myself. I want to burn, that is to say, to bring from physicality to spirituality, to change from or with an ein, which means skin, flesh and bones, physicality. I want to transform it and refine it into or with an aleph, into light, into energy. That's our job here. So the korbanot is at first sight difficult for many of us to understand. The sanctity with which the animal sacrifices were performed in the temple is beyond anybody's imagination in our generation. But it was amazingly sanctified. It was just one little story from the Baal Shem Tov will help you understand a little bit of what it was like in the temple. That there was a time 3 generations after the Baal Shem Tov passed away, maybe 2, and somebody was looking to find somebody who knew him. And they went back to where the Baal Shem Tov used to be in Meziboj and in the mountains of the Carpathian Mountains. And they found one old man who was not Jewish. And they said, did you ever meet a man named Yisrael? Oh, he said, yes, Srul. Yes, Yisrael. I knew him, I saw him. So can you tell me anything about him? Well, I can tell you, he had the most amazing way of killing an animal. Yes, when the Baal Shem Tov wanted to eat meat, he himself would do the slaughtering. And he had a special knife to do it. And when he would do it, usually we take our spit. A shochet, a slaughterer, takes the spit and he puts his fingernail along the blade of the knife to see if there's even a nick, the smallest nick. You're not allowed to use it if there's the smallest nick because the cut has to be completely clean. Yisrael used to take his tears. He used to sit with the animal and talk to the animal until the animal gave itself to him. This was the holiness of the Baal Shem Tov. Anyway, back in the temple, we used to do sacrifices. Nowadays, when we read these sacrifices, it means that we want to elevate our own physicality. Then we do the Ketoret. We do the incense. What can I tell you about the incense? It's the most amazing thing in the world. You're taking 11 incense spices, which are the ugliest things in the world. I'm just using that word on purpose. The ugliest things in the world, the roots of barks and the roots and the bark of various different plants, and each one of them is being refined and ground separately and then put together into the most amazing smelling incense in the world. That when you would smell it, it would completely take you to another world. And that's what the Kohen Gadol takes into the Holy of Holies on Yom Kippur, the incense. And it means that we take the ugly parts of ourselves and we make them into a beautiful offering for Hashem. That's just a little drop of what the incense is about. The entire section that we're talking about here is called the Korbanot section, and that's the first section of the prayers. It corresponds in the worlds to what's called Asiyah, the world of action, the physical world. It corresponds in the soul to the level called Nefesh. The Nefesh is the part of ourselves that we came to rectify, to fix, to elevate. In our next segment, we'll talk about the next section of Shachrit, which is called Pisukei de Zimra, and we'll understand things that maybe you've never heard, but it's awesome. It's exciting. What I want to tell you is more exciting than all the movies, anything you've read, anywhere, and I'm not making it up. Shalom, shalom. Bless you.